The man woke up with a start. Something had licked him. He took off his eye mask and was astonished to find himself clinging to a cliff thousands of meters high with a bottomless abyss below. He looked up and saw that his parachute was tangled in a dead tree, which was barely holding him. However, the entire face of the cliff was soft and made of salt, so he couldn't climb it. The man quickly thought of a solution. He pulled out his dagger and carefully tucked it into his boot, then pulled out 2 more daggers and thrust them firmly into the salt. He put all his effort into desperately climbing, just wanting to escape this hellish situation. However, after climbing only 2 meters, the weak daggers broke. The man lost his support and fell instantly. Fortunately, the parachute was still attached to the branches of the tree. Before he could rest, the dead tree couldn't bear the weight and began to slowly tremble. Suddenly, the man twisted the parachute ropes, quickly pulled out his dagger, and frantically cut the rope. At the very moment the branches were about to break, he managed to cut the rope at the last second. At that moment, his left foot was on the salt, and his hands were struggling to hold on to the face of the cliff. In a state of utter despair, the man saw a goat above him cleaning the salt from the cliff and licking it. This sight sparked a glimmer of hope in his heart. Ignoring everything else, he decided to imitate the goat, and with a sudden push, he put his hands between the face of the cliff and his feet. Below him was a bottomless abyss, and the sight made him tremble. If he lost his balance, he would be shattered into pieces. But there was no turning back. He had no other option but to imitate the goat's movements, carefully using his hands and feet to climb the cliff. After a long and difficult climb, he finally reached a protruding part of the cliff. Before he could catch his breath, the salt beneath his feet suddenly crumbled. In a single moment, rocks scattered and fell towards the abyss. The man quickly climbed up, took the opportunity to push himself like the goat, and jumped up. His hands gripped the edge of the cliff. At that moment, the man was completely exhausted. No matter how hard he tried, it was almost impossible to climb up. Suddenly, a goat appeared above him, looking at him fiercely. The goat sniffed the air and realized he was not one of its kind and pushed him down without hesitation. Fortunately, the man was still holding onto the edge of the cliff with one hand. He tried to climb up with all his might, but the goat wouldn't let him. It ran towards him again. The man grabbed the goat's horns, and when the goat felt threatened, it panicked and quickly backed away. The man's body was lifted to the top of the cliff, and he fell onto new ground, gasping for breath. The man slowly raised his hand and gently petted the goat that had saved him. His eyes were filled with relief and gratitude.